Hello everyone, my name is Nature Angel. If you are new to the channel, then welcome, and if you are returning, then welcome back. I always love the new and returning people. I appreciate you all. So let's just get right on into it. Today this video is going to be about English language learning students, ELL, and this video was inspired by Ms. Jules, so thank you so much for giving me this idea. I thought this was a great idea because in the schools, and especially as school psychologists, we work with students that know all sorts of languages, while the majority of them will know English, because if you're working in America, that is just what is taught. You will have plenty of students that speak another language or English is their second language. So I actually encountered a situation like 2 weeks ago last week that is related to this. So I do think this is a really good video, really helpful if you're a school psychologist going in to be a school psychologist, or even honestly if you're just working in the schools in general. So if this interests you, please keep watching. The first thing before I even get into this, and I did go over it, but I'm going to say it again, what is ELL? Because that is what I will be referring to in this video. ELL stands for an English language learner. So any student that we have where English is not the first language that they know, or they're just learning English because they know another language, right? So something you probably want to know is, when would we test a student that is an ELL student? Well, if the student knows another language and it's possible to test them in that language, and I mean their skills in that language, I think that should be done as soon as possible. So for example, if their native language is Spanish, let's see how advanced their Spanish is and if it matches the grade level that they are in, because that will just give us an idea of what we're working with. Now, I know that is not always possible, but if this is possible, I really think that that is something that should be done, just so that we get some background knowledge of things. This will help us because let's say that they're in the classroom and they're not performing that great. Are they not performing that great because they just don't know the language, or there's something else going on? Being able to see at least where their language skills are in their native language can help give us more information. If anyone in the school is even considering special education services or trying to assess for special education services for an ELL student, we first want to see if the kid has made any progress at all and has been in the school system for at least a year. So after that year, are they still at the same level that they were before when they started, or are they at least making some progress in the school system? The reason why I ask this is because a lot of schools do have someone that will pull students that are ELL students so that they can teach them English and maybe even other skills as well that they would be using in the school system. So if you get a new kid, they should have the data from when the person in the school started working with that student all the way up to the next year, and then you can see, did they make any improvement there? Even if they didn't in their other classes, do they have some improvement in their English or in any of the other skills that were being taught by the staff that works with ELL students? Now, after some time has gone on and you're kind of questioning,
is the kid struggling because they don't know the language, or is it time to test the kid because they might have a disability, but you are not sure what to do?
What you could do is look to make sure that the student is not having problems and issues that are language dependent. Are the issues that you are seeing, or the areas where they are not developing as much, are those areas kind of based on memory, especially if their English has drastically improved and let's say the memory just still isn't there, things like that. Just skills that are not language dependent. That is what you want to look for before trying to see if we should test this student for having a disability. And on top of that, remember, do not forget, make sure they have been in the school system for at least minimum a year. If they were in it longer, even better, and consistently too. Not like they were here a couple days, missed a couple days, because that could put them very far behind their peers. The reason why this is so important is because when you are assessing the student and then you come to the child find meeting or eligibility meeting, and it is time to maybe get the student special education services, if you cannot say without a doubt that these problems are not due to language or cultural factors, then you cannot say that they have a disability, because we do not know if the problems we are seeing are due to language or cultural factors. So that's why you want to do as much as this before work as you possibly can, because it will help you in the future. Something that I really like to use if a student has English as their second language is the C-LIM. It stands for the Cultural Linguistic Interpretive Matrix. So let me give you an example. Let's say that you are testing a second grader where their first language is not English. They just came to the US and have been here for at least a year, and you decide to test this student, so you gave them the WISC and the WJ, and now you got their scores back. You can put the scores in the C-LIM, and what it does is it outputs a graph for you that lets you see certain parts of the assessment that rely more on the culture, and it tries to reduce the bias. So this allows you to see where an English language learning student may be, instead of comparing them to a student that is born and raised in America and English is their first language, which is how the WISC and the WJ are norm. It's going to say where they should be or could be based on if someone took it and English wasn't their first language, instead of comparing it to the averages that you would normally compare the WJ and WISC to. So I really hope that this helped. I obviously am still learning even more ways that we can help students that are ELL students, because there's always new things coming out and new research and ways to help the students. Things are always changing. It also really depends what supports you have in your school, in your building, because that can vary drastically depending where you are at. I think that's important to consider, but this is just kind of the stuff that I'm using from something that I'm working with right now. But there are certain things that we have to go through first, and other ways that we can probably help the student just to adjust and adapt, because we cannot say that the student has a disability as soon as they walk in. Now, maybe, again, I might be getting a little off topic, but maybe if they had one wherever they were before and there's documentation, you know, you guys have to figure that out as a team. Different data being presented can have different results. So I know based on what I have right now, I'm doing what I have said in this video, and that could be different, but this is just some tips and tricks that you can use. I hope that it's helpful, and I hope that you can use it too. And if you find any other cool things that people are doing, especially school psychologists, with ELL students in the school, please leave that down below, because I know that'll be helpful for everyone. If your district does something different, also leave that down below. I would love to know. I'm always learning, and I love to learn with you guys. So I'm so happy and so thankful for you for watching. I will see you the next time. I appreciate you. I appreciate you all so much. I'll see you next time. Also, have a great holiday and a happy new year if I don't have a video out before that. Bye guys.